Hello everyone, it's Shel C, and today I'm sharing with you my Pick a Stick Challenge Altered Tag Challenge for the month of May 2019. Pick a Stick Challenge is a Facebook art community where we offer 3 challenges that are randomly drawn one-word prompts. And depending on the challenge, there's more or less prompts. There's also a wild card you can use if you don't like one of the prompts, and there's a suggestion of colors, or in this case, one color. We draw these each month. We post them at the beginning of the month, and then you can do as many or as few as you want. You can take the photos of that art and share it in the group, and that is what that art community is about. So today, the first prompt for the altered tag was pearls. And instead of using actual pearls or half pearls or something like that, I decided to use this product, Pearl X, which is made by Jacquard, and it is a powdered pigment. So it's like some ground up pigment with some ground up mica to make it shimmery. And I had made a chart this morning when I got out these powdered pigments. This company is not the only one who makes it. I know there's a powdered pigment by Finnabar. I know there's others out there, but I have had these for about 20 years and haven't had them out in probably 15 years. So I got out all the colors, I swatched them, and I decided that I wanted to make my tag black because I think that the powdered pigments show up better on there. So I painted my shipping tag with black gesso. And I also painted a smaller tag, which is a tag off of a new dress that I just got. I like to use those sometimes in conjunction with my tag. Here I'm showing how the colors look different depending on whether they're on a light or dark color. The most dramatic one is the duo green yellow, which looks green on white, but looks gold on green, or kind of gold on black. So that's what I was talking about in that particular section. This video was recorded during the live stream. I did the live stream today by myself, and Peg was busy, so this is what I did. The theme was I love, and I decided to talk about how I love challenges and how challenges make me get into the studio and do stuff. So this first part, I'm showing you how the powdered pigments require something to stick to. They don't have any binder of their own. They're not paint. They're just a powdered pigment. And I used Versamark over a stencil. This is a stencil I just purchased from Stencil Girl Products, and I thought it was cool. I think it kind of looks like gears, or else it looks like maybe it could be lemons and oranges. It could be color wheels, but I just thought it was kind of cool. So I put the Versamark through the stencil. It's more of a mask than a stencil. And then I just used a fluffy brush to brush on the pigments, and the pigment gets stuck to that sticky ink, and it just stays. So it's the easiest way to use it. Then this second way that I'm showing you is to use a binder called Gum Arabic, which is in what is in watercolors, to bind the pigment to the paper. Watercolors just pigment ground up and put with Gum Arabic and sometimes some other additives depending on whichever. So I just take a little bit of that Gum Arabic and I get it on my brush, then I just dip it into the pigment powder, and I mix it up in the lid because it doesn't bother me that it's in the lid. It doesn't drip back down in there. It dries fast enough. And then it just turns it into a paint, and I can paint it on. So that was the second way that I was talking about how you can use these pearly powders. At this point, I just realized that the color for the month is pistachio. And so I got out this green, duo green yellow, and tried to put some pistachio on there. It didn't really show up. It just looks like yellow on the black. But oh well, I put it on there, so I count that as one of the steps. I use this pistachio color. The next prompt was harsh. And I decided to take some trash paper, which is from the inside of an Amazon box at some point. I wadded it up, I tore it, I stabbed it with my pokey tool. I was very harsh with it. And then I took some black gesso and I painted it with black gesso. And then while the paint was still wet, I put some pigment powders on there and let it stick to that black gesso. I used the Super Copper And then I put some more black gesso on there, and then I used the Duo Green Yellow, which is the one that I am faking it that it's pistachio, which pistachio is a green yellow, but in this case, this color just looks yellow or gold on the black because it's a duo color. It's just that's just the way it is. If it was a white piece of paper, it would look green. So put some more black on there. Then I put some more copper. I was messing around trying to make it look like a old rusted piece of metal or something like that. Um, I actually got the theme of my tag or the idea for my tag from this stamp that like a postage stamp that has science on it, and it's got these colors that I used, kind of the reds, yellows, blues, and I'm going to put that on the um, the tag. But I was thinking recently about how the longer we live, the more science is confusing because it tells you, oh, you're supposed to eat margarine, not butter. Butter's got too much fat. Margarine's good for you. And then now it's telling you margarine's bad for you and you should use butter. It just continues to change. Everybody's idea of what's good for you continues to change. Now they're using pesticides and they're genetically modifying food, and now we got to buy the non-GMO food, and we got to buy we got to worry about the pesticides poisoning us. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how science advances us as humanity advances, but yet then it also often will harm us. So I put my old ripped up piece of paper on there that's all harshed up, and then I added this very harsh image, which is a skull and crossbones for poison. So this is what the theme of my tag ended up being today. Um, I was just thinking about it. I have been thinking about it. I was at the infusion center, and the lady that I was talking to was telling me how she thinks that the Diet Dr Pepper that she drank and was addicted to has given her cancer. It's just it's a topic that needs to be discussed, and I don't know. It's something I think about. I sometimes think about stuff. So that's what this tag is about. Also, I mean, here I am in my studio using pigment powder and I'm inhaling it and it's probably poisoning me. I should be using a ventilator or something. It's just a thing. It's just the more things we make, the longer the things last in the environment, the more they poison us. Just something. So the next step was staple, and I used my tiny attacher to staple down some of that skull and crossbones and also the little hang tag that I used on top of the tag. I also backed that with some copper paper, and I'm going to back the whole thing with copper paper. But the final step was erase. Sometimes erase doesn't have to mean with a rubber eraser and erasing pencil marks or something like that, or whatever with an eraser. Sometimes you can use the great eraser to take away your mistakes, and that is gesso. Gesso is the universal eraser. If you don't like it, you can cover it up with gesso. So I erased a little bit of the shininess on that smaller tag that's attached and added kind of a little bit of a shadow around my postage stamp that I glued on there using black gesso and thinning it and blending it with a little bit of water. So here I am showing that you don't need to seal the Pearl-Ex after you've put it on there like that. You can rub on it, it doesn't come off. So then my final thing was to add the copper paper to the back for a framing because I just like to do that. And then to add some ribbon and copper thread. Somebody was asking how I store my tags, and so I was showing this tag book that I made with little pockets, and I will put a link in the iCard above so that you can see how I made that with elastic and cardstock pockets to put your tags in. Unfortunately, I often back my tags, and so they don't fit in this particular book because I make them larger by adding that backing. So I need to make a new one with bigger pockets. So anyway, that's it for me for today in my Pick a Stick Challenge altered shipping tag. If you like it, please remember to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment or question below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notification bells. Share if you want to. And that's it for me. Bye-bye.